Hey Twisters, welcome back. I'm Nick. Today, let's rank all 32 away jerseys in the NHL. So somebody recently said, hey, can you rank all 32 away jerseys? I have done the home jerseys before. Hell yeah, that is what we are all about on this channel. Discussions around logos and jerseys and branding, all sorts of topics around hockey history and culture, a little analysis in there as well. So absolutely happy to be doing this for you guys. Of course, I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Maybe give me your top 5 favorite road jerseys and maybe your top 5 least favorite. Now, before I get into this, guys, make sure you're notified, subscribed, all that good stuff, because in my next video, I'm announcing that I'm selling a bunch of my jerseys. I'm talking several dozens in my collection, all sorts of teams, all sorts of great looks. There are certainly reasons behind that as well. But anyway, stay in the know. Make sure you know when I upload that next video. It'll probably be a couple of days after this one. And once I've actually announced that, I'll be sure to put that in the video description down below for your access as well. And remember, with these rankings, there's no right or wrong answer. This is entirely subjective. I contradict myself a bunch. I tried, ranking these a few different times. And so ultimately, this is what we came out with. Anyway, let's roll, starting with number 32. Skadoosh that like. Here we go, baby. Okay, so at the very bottom here, I've got the Nashville Predators. I really like the numbers on these jerseys. They're fantastic. The shoulder logo looks good. Even Nashville on the back of the collar is fine. But everything else about this, actually, no, the logo looks good too. But I just don't like the shape of this jersey with, I won't beat this to death, but it's the crop shoulders instead of rounding them off. You'll see what I mean later on. And these are just a bunch of splotches of yellow at the sleeves and on top and on the bottom. Not enough navy blue, I think, to really balance that out. It's a shame because it could actually be a pretty kick-ass jersey. But anyway, it's at 32. 31, the LA Kings, maybe a little bit better composed. It is lacking some color, and certainly we'd like to see the Kings go back to using some more purple. The silver shine in this jersey is great, I have to say. And the font, the typeface, is a little bit unique, but yeah, there's just kind of some awkward piping. So yeah, this leaves me wanting more and not in a good way. 30th, I've got the Devils. I've talked about this before. I think that the Devils used to have really great uniforms in previous eras of NHL jerseys, but this one to me is not quite doing it. It's the bottom of the jersey is too blank. I wish that there was some sort of striping going on, like what they had in the Reebok era. They've got these really big bands on the arms too. It's just kind of a blocky jersey, all things considered. So I'm just not a fan of this iteration of the Devils. 29th, we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not a bad jersey, not so poorly composed, but it isn't exactly the most original of designs out there. You think of what Tampa used to wear back in the 90s, and even in the Reebok days as well before they switched in like 2010 or 2011. I wish they'd go back to that and add some more black into this or some silver or something like that. Yeah, there's just one band on the arms, one band on the waist, and the logo itself leaves, I think, a lot to be desired as well. The shoulder logos look good, the numbers look really good as well. And when you add like a captain's letter or like a Stanley Cup patch, it fills out the jersey pretty well, but otherwise, it's just a little too plain for me. 28th, I've got the Capitals. I don't hate this jersey. I actually like this a little bit more than the home jersey because of those red numbers. They really do pop quite well. You gotta love the Weagle. But of course, the red sort of underarm striping and the kind of navy part on the side of the torso isn't that great, I gotta say. And also the logo, of course, we certainly could think of a couple other better alternatives for the Washington Capitals. All right, 27th might come as a bit of a surprise. I've got the Wild. I love the home jersey. It's almost perfect. Don't change a thing about this. But with the away jersey, it's not the sponsor. I won't even factor that into my decisions here. But anyway, for me, it's two things. First of all, shoulders, as I mentioned earlier. And second of all, it's the red numbers. I just don't think that they really fit with this jersey all too well. I think of that 2010 or 2009 script alternate jersey they had, which was just green and cream, that off-white. Of course, this jersey would look a lot better if they were able to make it in off-white. Yeah, it's just kind of a mismatch with what they have with their home look, and that look is much better in my opinion. In 26th, I have the Maple Leafs. Not a bad jersey. I do like the logo. I like royal blue, but kind of like Tampa, this is just a little bit too blank for me. I wish they would have gone with something kind of like what we saw with the 2018 Stadium Series jersey when they played the Capitals. That jersey is magnificent. This one, though, is still okay. It doesn't really do anything wrong in particular other than the sponsor. All right, 25th, I have the Anaheim Ducks. I think what actually puts it lower in the rankings is the logo itself, right? The Ducks, that could have used maybe the Mighty Duck, even if it's recolored. Really like the numbers on this jersey quite a bit. The typeface is very unique. I think it's the best, or at least the most unique in the NHL. The arms are pretty interesting with the sort of chevron striping. I don't mind that. I don't really like that on the torso as much, even though, yeah, it does kind of fill out the space much better on a white jersey. The collar piece right here, I wish that that was just black so it matches the rest of the shoulder yoke. I like the shoulder patches, but that being said, there are still a couple of big misses with this jersey. In 24th, I have the Flyers. Not a bad jersey. I do think it's a little bit blank. It's not filled out quite enough as I wish it were. I've never been a huge fan of the arm design because it's not like the orange covers the entire sleeve. There's some white in there as well. And the way that the numbers kind of overlap the two colors like that, I'm not a fan. I do like the name bar on the back of this jersey and on the back of the home jersey quite a bit. Love the logo. It's just that, yeah, it does fail to execute in a couple of areas. 23rd, I had the Vancouver Canucks. I don't hate this jersey. There is enough going on for a road jersey. I think the space is filled out pretty nicely. I just kind of wish that maybe it was just one green band, a little bit of white separating the next band, and then that was blue. I wish that the striping was even between the green and the blue instead of these thin blue stripes. I like the blue at the ends of the sleeves, really like the shoulder logos, but you might know I've never been a big fan of this Vancouver Canucks logo in particular. It just doesn't have enough color contrast. 22nd, I've got the Boston Bruins. Again, not a bad jersey at all. It doesn't do anything wrong per se. The waist striping, there's enough going on down there, and on the sleeves, you've got some black at the end of the sleeves as well. I love the alternate logo on the shoulders. That looks terrific. Even that yellow sort of strip for the shoulder yoke, I think that's a great addition here as well. It looks better here than it does on the home jersey. When you have like a long name on the back with all that yellow outlining, it does look a little bit messy in my opinion, but that's just kind of a small detail to have a gripe with. Logo looks good. It's just, again, I don't really know if the colors necessarily pop as well on a white jersey for this particular scheme. 21st, I have the New York Islanders. This is a good looking jersey, maybe a little bit bottom heavy with the striping and the way that the arms are done, but the colors have great contrast. The numbers look really sharp. It is missing maybe a couple of shoulder logos to make things a little bit more interesting up there. I don't mind the laces. A lot of people say get rid of those for everybody, but yeah, I think that they look okay. The logo, I'm sure, looks great on an Adidas jersey with the very fine detailing that those have these days too. 20th, I've got the Dallas Stars. I actually really like this away jersey a whole lot. I like the alternating striping with the black band and also the green band. The numbers are of a unique typeface. They have great perforation to them as well. The perforated numbers are certainly a winner in my book. I like the victory green. I like the somewhat rounded shoulders, and the shoulder logo looks good. I really should have this higher except for one thing, and for me, that is the collar. That toilet seat collar is breaking up otherwise a very good-looking shoulder yoke, and it does stick out kind of as a sore thumb to me, so that is really why I can't rank it that much higher. Okay, 19th, I got the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, the wordmark Canes. I know a lot of people aren't fans of this, and I certainly wasn't initially. Okay, I would prefer if they went with something that's like what they wear at home. But that being said, this has grown on me a little bit. I love the way that the storm flags are shaded on the bottom of the jersey. I'm a little confused as to why they're not like that on the arm as well. I do like the numbers, a somewhat unique typeface. Love the hurricane flags on top with the hockey stick. Okay, 18th, I've got the Jets. Really like this one for the most part. My biggest gripe would be those bands on the arms. I know they do that with the home jersey, but here you have the two-tone sleeve and you have these bands intersecting both shades of the sleeves. So I really do think that that's kind of a flaw in the design. Everything else I like quite a bit though, especially that two-tone blue. I am a sucker for that, absolutely. Shoulder logos on the Jets, superb. I like those quite a bit. Not the biggest fan of the main logo, even though it really fits with the shoulder logo. I don't know. With the Jets, I just kind of wish they'd go back to what they had in the 1980s, but I can excuse that. This jersey altogether is very, very well composed. All right, in 17th, I've got the Ottawa Senators. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Senators' looks over the years for home and away jerseys, but I am glad that they're wearing this versus what they had earlier in the Adidas era, I like the numbers. I like the typeface, even though it is a little bit on the blockier side. It's very pronounced. I like the coloring quite a bit. The logo, I'm sure that gold really shines in Adidas. I've never seen it in person, My biggest gripe here are the numbers on the actual sleeve bands. I'm not a fan of that. The jersey just doesn't have enough going on other than those bands, I would have to say. If you put the numbers above the bands, I think this jersey is a little bit more balanced. Also, maybe if they had a little bit more coloring, like at the ends of the sleeves, that would be pretty great. Okay, 16th, I've got the Avalanche, and I could certainly make a case as to why I should rank these higher than 16th. I really like the burgundy here. It's fantastic, and the symmetry, the way this jersey is composed with the sort of two-tone sleeving with the silver trim. Not sure if you need that, but it doesn't do anything wrong for the jersey. The sort of peak motif at the bottom of the jersey as well. I like that quite a bit. And I like the numbers on the sleeves with that sort of blue, that lighter blue, that cerulean blue outline. Those look great. If they could change one thing here, it would have to be the numbers on the back. I think that those should just be burgundy. I think it kind of clashes with, it kind of detracts your attention, I guess, from the rest of the jersey. Other than that, it is a fantastic road jersey, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Avalanche logo. I've talked about that a couple times before. Okay, 15th, Montreal Canadiens. Great looking jersey, but it reminds me a lot of Dallas, or reminds me of what I said about Dallas earlier. I love just about everything about it, except for, again, the collar. It really does distract you when you see it breaking up the two red shoulders here. Everything else, though, is excellent. I love the numbers on these jerseys. They're even better than what they wear at home. Maybe a little bit blank with the, you have just two little thin stripes at the bottom of the jersey. You do have some coloring at the end of the sleeves. I appreciate that as well. And I really like the way that the logo looks on white as well. In 14th, I had the Florida Panthers. I do like these jerseys quite a bit. I really like that chest stripe, and the logo looks pretty good in front of that, I have to say. There's no perforation to the numbers anymore, which I don't understand why they would remove it. It looked terrific. Even with the numbers on the shoulders, I like that quite a bit as well. I do wish there was a little bit more going on with the bottom of the jersey. There's no coloring at the ends of the sleeves, and there's no coloring at the waist either, except for a very thin navy blue stripe. I wish they had something else happening down there. Otherwise, this jersey is pretty well filled out from the chest up. Really like the Florida Panthers arm logo. That looks terrific. One of the most unique jersey features in the NHL. 13th, I've got the Coyotes. Now, it was interesting because I remember seeing these on TV or something, and I was like, whoa, these are something else. And some of you out there like these quite a bit as well. However, comparing this against the black Kachina jersey, I like the black one a little bit more. I just think that the elements pop a little bit better on that one for some reason, even though I've bitched about the color scheme before, the lack thereof. Like the green shoulders on this, funky shoulder patches. I know a lot of people like that. I'm not the biggest fan, honestly. I don't know. From an execution standpoint, it needs a little bit of a makeover to, I think, look like a good jersey for the 2020s. It does kind of show its age a little bit, even though the detailing in the logo is fantastic. In 12th, I had the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think this is one of the more underrated jerseys in the NHL. The only real complaint I have here, the collar piece should be navy, and the bottom of the jersey is pretty blank. Everything else, though, I love. I bet that logo in person probably looks excellent. I love the pinstriping along the shoulder yoke. The numbers have perforations in them, and they're a unique typeface. You got the Canon logos on the shoulder, even though, yes, of course, I'd want to see that on the front. And yeah, there's enough color contrast going on with this jersey overall. It's just, yeah, the bottom of it is too plain. Other than that, this is definitely better than their home jersey and is certainly one of the jerseys in the NHL that should get some more love. Okay, 11th, I've got the Vegas Golden Knights. This is an awesome jersey as well. I really wish that, though, they switched out the gray for black. If they could actually match the black in the logo and put that on the upper arms and in the numbers, this would probably vault into like top 6 or so. I think that just kind of sticks out as a sore thumb for an otherwise excellent jersey. The shoulder logos are just terrific, some of the best in the NHL. The logo detailing in person is something else. I do have a home jersey, or what used to be their home jersey. I have no idea why they switched. And yeah, that's one of my favorite jersey features in the NHL. And the armbands are pretty interesting. So this is a terrific jersey. It's just, it could just be a little bit better if they made two, or I guess one, just a little change to the color scheme. Otherwise, It's wonderful. But of course, the Golden Knights only get so high in my rankings, even though they could finish with the President's Trophy this year, which I kind of hope happens. Anyway, my next team is my team, my beloved San Jose Sharks, with their new road jerseys. Of course, they have new home jerseys as well. And I just picked up one of these. I love it. It's excellent. Now, one thing that I will criticize them for is that thick gap between the stripes on the waist and in the sleeves. So you can't tell when you're looking at a picture like this or watching them on TV, but if you see the jerseys up close in person, then you're like, oh, okay, now I see what they were going for. It's this beautiful wave pattern. It's maybe a little bit too subtle, I think, versus something like what Vegas has with that gold fleck, or the Kings, they have something like that these days. But it does add a little bit of versatility to the Sharks branding, and it adds some more weight to the jersey. And I personally like the jerseys a little bit heavier, so they do get some kudos for that. Really like the way the shoulder logos have been recolored to kind of match the overall theme of this jersey. And the one thing the Sharks also didn't forget was to change up their typeface and change up their numbers. These look so much better than the boring blocky numbers that they used to have for many, many years. So I really do appreciate the upgrades in many ways. It's a pretty well composed jersey, not my favorite in Sharks history, but I am very happy when I see them on the ice in these, and especially in their teal uniforms. In ninth, I have the Blackhawks. I love this jersey, especially in the Reebok era. I have a Patrick Sharp jersey. Really fashionable. When you pair it with like some black pants, it looks amazing. And of course, you can always look to me for tips in fashion and facial hair and that sort of thing. So great looking jersey, chain stitch logo, chain stitch shoulder logos as well, up close. They are magnificent, just beautiful. I really like how with this jersey, there is coloring to the ends of the sleeves. There's a little bit of black there. I would be keen to see if they were to actually flip the striping scheme so it went red, black, red. I don't know. What would that look like? In eighth, I've got the Penguins. I really like this jersey overall. The black jersey is fantastic, but for a white jersey with a black and yellow color scheme, I think this is about as good as it gets. There isn't that much I would change, honestly. There's enough happening on the arms to where it doesn't even look like an away jersey. It's so well filled out. You have color all through the arms for the most part. You have coloring on the waist as well. The Penguins logo looks great. And I actually think you don't need shoulder logos. I think that this is pretty much a good balanced jersey with enough happening. And yeah, there's really not much I can criticize it for. In seventh, I have the St. Louis Blues. I wasn't the biggest fan of this jersey, but when I honed in on the jersey itself and not the whole uniform, I really gained more appreciation for it. Love the colored shoulder yoke with the yellow and the navy strips there. The numbers are fantastic on this, and I like the royal blue nameplate as well. But yeah, you've got some color play with the numbers. That was executed very well. And just overall, it's really filled out for a white jersey, and it features a fantastic logo. I ranked this formulaically as the second best logo in the NHL. In sixth, we have the jersey that I'm wearing, Seattle Kraken. The way that the logo looks against white is magnificent. The ice blue and the slightly darker shading for that and the red eye just really pops on a white base. And again, this really does fill out the space quite well for an away jersey. Maybe a little bit thick with the banding on the elbows. The Space Needle logo is a very clever shoulder logo, even though it doesn't really take up that much space or width, I should say. Love the numbers on this as well. Kind of like what I talked about with the Sharks. It is kind of a unique typeface and uses kind of similar number coloring, I would say. Overall, just very well composed, and it stands out there as one of the best in the NHL. In fifth, I have the Red Wings. I had to give them their due here because, first and foremost, that is an incredible logo, the best in the NHL as I have formulaically ranked. And I know that the striping here is very simple on the arms and on the sleeves, or on the waist, I should say. You only have one stripe, but there's enough red going on with this. You gotta love the arched font on the back with the red letters. Red numbers, I should say. To me, this is one of the better offerings from the original 6 teams, and it is better than the home jersey too. In fourth, I have the Rangers, and on any other day, I could have them ranked number 1. These are amazing as well. Of course, you got those great numbers with the drop shadow, so much color play. The striping is just absolutely perfect. Maybe the best striping of any road jersey, especially when it gets to the shoulder yoke as well. I love that. I don't like the red collar as much. I wish that were blue, or I don't know exactly how they could change that up per se. Other than that, I really do like the word mark quite a bit for this. It has character to it. It seems like something that's been around for decades and decades. It's just lasted really well through various eras of jersey manufacturers. In third, I've got the Edmonton Oilers. They had a great away jersey before switching over to the royal and orange, but come on, I love these colors more than what they used to have. So this looks excellent. I love the numbers on this. It's got so much pop, such great color contrast. The logo looks terrific as well. Colored shoulder yoke, just a little bit of orange outlining, 3 stripes on the sleeves, 3 stripes on the waist. That is the quintessential hockey jersey. So this one is an absolute beauty. Man, I hope I could eventually add this in my collection. In second, I have the Buffalo Sabres. I unboxed this on my channel and I was just blown away at how beautiful this jersey is, especially with the detailing in the logo. And I don't even own the prime green version, so that would even be better than what I have in my collection. Love the blue and yellow, just great colors. Colored shoulder yoke. It looks very similar to the Oilers jersey, right? If anything, I like the Oilers numbers more than the typeface that the Sabres have chosen here. But again, the detailing of the logo is what vaults it to that number 2 position. The going back to this look just a couple years ago was just the right decision for the Sabres. I love the goat head, but this to me is just the look that should never ever change. It is timeless. And in first, I'm sure some of you knew this going into it, I got the Calgary Flames. I have this jersey from the Heritage Classic, so I have the shoulder patch. I love this jersey. It's amazing. Calgary has the best home and away look in the NHL. Fight me. Yeah, it's just how assertive it is, how loud it is with the red and yellow. I actually like how the yellow stripes are within those red bands. Somehow that really works for me on this jersey. The Flaming Sea looks just terrific with the yellow sort of outline to it. Even that little bit of yellow in the collar works for me as well. It's just this thing has so much, I don't know, it has so much punch to it with how it's colored, and the composition overall is very well balanced too. So that's why it's number 1. So those are my rankings, but I did post on our community page here. I said, who do you think has the best road jersey in the NHL? So here's what you guys had to say. Alexandros says, I always loved the Islanders away jerseys. They are so good that once upon a time they were the home jersey. Okay, well, that was the case for a lot of teams out there. Windy City Hockey says, call me biased, but I honestly think that the Blackhawks are the best red white. Figures. The Amazing Gamer says, my top 3 are Seattle, New York Islanders, so Islanders again, and Vegas, but Vegas has the best. Then Jonathan says Vegas and Seattle easily. So we've already seen a couple for the Islanders, for the Golden Knights, and for Seattle. Dave says Sabres, followed closely by Arizona. Then House of Selena says Edmonton Oilers. I think we saw that earlier. And then Mommy Joe says, I would say Seattle, Colorado, and Chicago. So Chicago and Seattle have come up a couple of times. Jaden says Buffalo and then Arizona. So we've already seen Buffalo and Arizona. MK, Kevin, MVP member, shout out, says Arizona 100%. Blues Twos, Eustace in Germany says that he also prefers Arizona above all. Steven says Colorado, so we've got a couple votes for the Avs. Isaiah says Edmonton, and we already saw that listed a couple of times. And then Positive Raven says Bruins. We'll ignore the profile picture. So yeah, you see a lot of repetition, even in just a few comments here. Arizona, Colorado, New York Islanders, Chicago, Seattle, Vegas, Buffalo. Buffalo got a couple of mentions here, and as you saw earlier, they were ranked second for me. The Oilers were ranked 3rd. I don't think anybody else here said Detroit, the Rangers, or Calgary though. So only 2 of my top 5 teams were mentioned here. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting to look at. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you watch my next video when I announce all of the jerseys that I'm selling in my collection. You don't want to miss that. I would really appreciate if you would consider buying a jersey. I will explain that later on. And in the meantime, if you're looking for something to watch my classic logos ranking. We're looking at the Nordiques, the Whalers, the Fisherman logo for the Islanders, the Pooh Bear, the Kansas City Scouts, Colorado Rockies, all these great classic logos from over the decades, so make sure you don't miss out on that as well. And comment down below from this list here, what were your 5 favorite jerseys, your 5 least favorite? Feel free to rank all 32 of them. Leave a thumbs up, right guys? Subscribe if you're new here, and follow me on social media. You can see that in the description down below, and become a member. We're putting out more content like this for very special Twisters. Anyway guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick. I'll catch you Twisters later. Ciao.